Hello, my name is Brett Spence and this is part 2 of my War of Austrian Succession video. With Frederick occupying northern Silesia, Maria Theresa ordered General von Neipper's 20,000 men to recapture the province. Neipper caught Frederick completely off guard and he and Neipper raced to Nice where a small Prussian force was besieging the city in appalling freezing weather. Neipper would reach the city first and set up camp near Mollwitz. On the 10th of April, 1741, Frederick would arrive near Mollwitz where captured Austrian soldiers told Frederick where the Austrian camp was, and in blizzard conditions, Frederick ordered his men to a battle line with his officers protesting this order, and they lost the element of surprise. He also miscalculated the distance to the river on his right flank and deployed several units on a bend in the river. When Napier realized the Prussians were here and getting ready for battle, Napier ordered his men into a battle line, which took an hour to complete. The Prussians outnumbering the Austrians and outgunning them, but the Austrians outnumbered them in cavalry. The battle began at 2 p.m. with the Prussians advancing in two lines, with the artillery bombarding the Austrian lines. But on the extreme left flank, 6 regiments of Austrian cavalry, being bombarded by the Prussian artillery, decided to charge the Prussian right flank without orders and routed the Prussian cavalry. Frederick was with the cavalry during the attack and was caught in the rout. General Field Marshal Schwartzen advised the king to flee from the battlefield so he wouldn't be captured or killed. The king took his advice and abandoned the field, with him almost being captured and almost being shot. Now with brave Frederick gone, Schwartzen now could salvage the situation. The Austrian cavalry then attacked the Prussian infantry, with the infantry desperately trying to repel the Austrian cavalry, which led to some friendly fire instances, with the second line firing on the cavalry, with some men being hit in the first line. The rapid volley fire and discipline caused heavy casualties on the Austrian cavalry, and with the death of their general, the Austrian cavalry retreated from the field. Schwartzen reformed his infantry and ordered them to strip the ammunition from their dead and advance in a oblique order and routed the poorly trained and raw Austrian infantry. The Prussians won a close victory at Mollwitz, but the victory did brought prestige to Frederick despite him fleeing from the battle. Frederick learned from his mistake during the battle and would reform the Prussian cavalry to match the Austrian cavalry. After the battle, Napier retreated to Nice, and when Frederick returned the following morning, he would lay siege to Brie and capture the town on the 4th of May. On the 5th of June at Nymphenburg, a French-sponsored alliance was formed. France, Bavaria, Spain, Prussia, Saxony, and Savoy agreed to formally recognize Charles Albert's claim and agreed to a partition of Austria, with Upper Austria would be given to Bavaria, Moravia and Upper Silesia would be given to Saxony, Lower Silesia and Glatz to Prussia, and Lombardy to Spain. In August, the Franco-Bavarian army marched along the Danube towards Vienna and captured Liz on the 14th of September, where they were joined by a 20,000-strong Saxon army and captured Prague on the 26th of November, where Charles Albert crowned himself King of Bohemia. With defeat close approaching and the need for more troops for the war, Maria Theresa approached the Hungarian Diet on the 11th of September, where she gave an emotional speech in Latin, and she said, while wearing the Holy Crown of Hungary, "The very existence of the Kingdom of Hungary, of our own person, and our children, and our crown, are at stake. Forsaken by all, we place our sole reliance in the fertility and long-tired valor of the Hungarians." The members of the Diet were unimpressed by the speech, and members even questioned and heckled the Queen, with someone crying out that she better apply to Satan than the Hungarians for help. However, with her having a flair for theatrics, she held her son and heir, Joseph, weeping, and she dramatically consigned the future king to the defense of the brave Hungarians. This act managed to win over the members of the Diet, and they declared they would die for their queen. Now with fresh troops and Prussia agreeing to a truce with Austria, mainly because Frederick wanted to weaken his ally Saxony, this freed up troops and Maria Theresa put the old Field Marshal Ludwig Andreas Kallenhaller to command the winter offensive. That brings us to the end of the video. Can Maria Theresa survive? Will the winter offensive be successful? Stay tuned for part 3.